Good evening, everyone. I'm Sonia Samtani, and welcome once again to Behind the Mask, bringing you a conscious and authentic conversation about real-life situations. One of the feelings that many of us avoid is guilt. And guilt is particularly uncomfortable, more than anger and fear, because when you are angry or fearful, at least you think you are right and the other person or the situation is wrong, and it can momentarily give you an ego boost. But when you are guilty, you are admitting that you are wrong. And then you go into a spiral of regret and shoulds. So I should have known better. I should have done better. I should have been better. Guilt is almost always linked with this word should, which in my belief happens to be one of the most detrimental words that we can say to ourselves. So when we say I should have, we will inevitably feel wrong or bad about ourselves. But if we look at the truth is we can actually never do everything that we think we should do. For example, many of us think that we should keep being positive. We should always eat healthy. We should always exercise well. We should always see the best in others, accept the life the way that it is, and the list goes on and on. But we cannot always do that, or it's a tall order to do that. And most of us are in the process of it. We've not perfected it yet. So I would encourage us to look behind the mask to see what happens to us when we don't do what we think we should do. So when we think that we've done something wrong, we feel guilty. We've not done what we thought that we should do, and as a result, we begin to adopt self-sabotaging behaviors and punish ourselves for it. And this is associated from when we were younger. So when we were growing up, when we did something wrong, usually our parents or our school would punish us. But now that we are an adult, there is no institution out there that's going to punish us. So we begin to punish ourselves. And this punishment looks like a whole lot of negative talk, where we beat ourselves up over and over again, and we keep saying things like, you're not good, how could you be so silly, how could you be so stupid, until we feel so small and so unworthy. Or even worse, we can manifest physical aches and pains in the body that can later on turn into a disease. In fact, many studies have shown that any physical issue that involves the kidney or liver is our suppressed guilt that we are avoiding and not dealing with. It's behind the mask. We don't like feeling guilty, yet the guilt is there, and it's because of our shoulds. So guilt doesn't serve us, it doesn't work, and neither do our shoulds. So I have two pieces of advice that you can feel inspired to take or not take with this word should. So firstly, check in with yourself with your shoulds. Do you even agree with what you're telling yourself that you should do? So I know a lovely lady who kept saying to herself, I should be a good cook, when she really hated cooking. And later on, she realized that this was not even her value. It was her mother's. She didn't like to cook, and she was actually fine not being able to cook. So if you don't even agree with what you are telling yourself to do or what you should do, it's a lost cause. It doesn't serve you, so drop that should. Drop all of the shoulds that you actually don't even agree with. Consciously realize it's not yours, and you can remove it from your system. And then for the other shoulds, the ones that you do agree with. For example, you might agree with, I should eat my vitamins in the morning, or I should exercise 4 times a week. Then try to use the word could instead of should. So if you say to yourself instead, I could exercise 4 times a week, I could take my vitamins every morning. Could won't make you feel bad or wrong. It would make the possibility exist of doing it in the future. So if you told yourself, I could exercise 4 times a week, and you didn't do it one week, you're not going to feel wrong or bad, because it's a could, it's a possibility, and you can still do it next week. So you're not going to end up punishing yourself. So working on your shoulds would greatly eliminate your guilt, as it takes away those rules and those conditions. And my invitation to you, just for the next few hours, which is probably an achievable goal, is to watch how many times you say the word should to yourself in your mind, and either drop it if you don't agree with it, or shift it and say could instead. See how that works for you. Chances are you would immediately feel lighter and begin to feel better about yourself. So there is no guilt and no shoulds.